So it was a typical day. I was in the car with my daughter. She was driving, and I was in the passenger seat. We were having an amazing conversation. We were laughing. We were on our way to our destination, and all of a sudden, in mid-sentence, the words stopped coming out of my mouth. For a second, I was like, what is going on? And I look over at my daughter, and I try to tell her, I don't feel right. Something is wrong. And nothing is coming out of my mouth except like incoherent, strange sounds. And she looks over at me, and the look on her face said it all. And I knew she was worried. And my daughter is a nurse, so she, while she is driving, tries to do an assessment on me, and she tells me to smile. And I smiled, and then she tells me, lift your left arm, lift your right arm, can you do this, say this for me? And the look of panic on her face is getting worse and worse. My daughter doesn't have a very good poker face, and she tells me, Mom, I think you're having a stroke, and I'm going to take you to the emergency room. And at this point, both of us are panicking, and I am having difficulty moving the entire left side of my body. Like my arm, my hand, my leg, everything felt heavier. And she later on told me that when she asked me to smile, like the left side of my mouth was not smiling, was not moving. And so as quickly and safely as she could, she drove us to the nearest hospital. Now, granted, we live in a rural area, so getting to the hospital in a short amount of time is not an easy feat. And so she gets us to the ER. She parks in front of the door. She runs inside. She comes back with this guy who has a wheelchair. And he practically has to pick me up and put me in the wheelchair because at this point I still could not move the left side of my body. And I could get a few more words out, but it was like in slow motion, and I wasn't speaking like myself. And so we get in there, they check me in, they do the paperwork, they get me into the back as quickly as possible, because they said that with a stroke, the faster they respond, the less damage that will be done to your body, and the more likely it is you'll be able to recover afterwards. And so the doctor saw me as quickly as he could, and they did CT scans, they did MRIs, they gave me meds, they did all the things. And the doc comes in, and I kid you not, like, doctors, work on your poker face, please. Because this doctor looked like I was going to die, and he had to break the news to my daughter that I was going to die. That was the look he had. And he was young, so he was probably a new ER doc. But our hearts dropped. And then he says, and he talks to my daughter because I'm still kind of loopy from the meds. And he tells her, I think your mom had a TIA. And of course she knows what that is, but I don't know what that is. So a transient ischemic attack, or TIA, or mini stroke, as the rest of us refer to it. And she like takes a deep breath. And so from her, judging her response, I'm like, okay, so it's not that bad. Because my daughter would be panicking if it was what I thought it was going to be. And they eventually sent us home, and he said that we would have to follow up with my primary doctor and see a neurologist. So the next day I get an emergency appointment with my primary doctor in my rural area, and he sets up a specialist appointment with the neurologist. Now, because we live in a rural area, in order for me to access the neurologist, we have to drive 2 hours over this huge mountain pass in order to get to this specialist. So it took us a few days for them to get the appointments done and everything. I think maybe it was like a week after all of this happened at the ER that I actually saw the neurologist. And they had sent over from my local hospital to her hospital the scans that they did. So she looked them over. And so when I saw her, she was not happy with the scans that my hospital took. So I had to redo all of the scans again at her hospital with their better equipment. And so that took a little while. And then I did a follow-up appointment with the neurologist, and she tells me, I don't think you had a TIA. I think you have migraines with aura. And in fact, I think you have hemiplegic migraine. And so I'm like trying to take all of this information in, and I hear migraine and I'm thinking, okay, my mom has migraine, so that kind of makes sense. And then in the next second, I'm thinking, wait. My mom's migraines have never been like this. Like the ER doctor thought I was having a stroke. So you're wrong. There's no way this is a migraine. I didn't believe her. I wanted a second opinion. She gave me some pamphlets and some information about migraines with aura and hemiplegic migraine, and a prescription for some medication. And I went home and cried and tried to let it all sink in, and then did my own research. I did get a second opinion from another neurologist who confirmed that diagnosis. And I'm trying not to get choked up because this was a life-changing experience for me. And even though this was years ago, like I've still been dealing with things and managed things since then, because there is no cure for migraines with aura. There's no cure for hemiplegic migraines. This is a neurological disease that I now have to manage for the rest of my life with lifestyle changes and medication and work accommodations. And it's been a whole journey. So if you are newly diagnosed with hemiplegic migraine, or if you've had this disease for a while, my heart goes out to you, because one of the rarest forms of migraine is not an easy thing to deal with, and there's not a whole lot of people out there. There's not a whole lot of people on YouTube or TikTok who are talking about having hemiplegic migraines. If you do want to find more people who can give you a lot more information, I follow Migraine Babe, and she works for a migraine doc, and she posts TikToks and gives really great medical accurate information about migraine with aura and hemiplegic migraine. So I would highly recommend that you follow her. She's been such a big help to me on my journey. I also follow the migraine nurse, and so I can put the links to their socials in the description below, so you can all follow them as well. This is not a sponsored video or anything. I just want to provide information for you all that can be helpful in your own journey. So if you have migraines with aura or hemiplegic migraine, give this video a like and follow my channel, and we can build our community together and hold each other up. If you're experiencing this, please let me know in the comments so I know I'm not alone, and we can build our community together.
Remember, you don't have to face chronic illness alone. We're in this together.